Everyone thinks Europe is out of reach. Too expensive, too crowded, too far. But there's one country, sitting quietly on the edge of the Atlantic, that doesn't play by those rules. It has castles older than most nations, waves that some say are the biggest on Earth, neighborhoods that look like they were painted by hand. And somehow, it's still one of the most underrated places on the planet. This is Portugal, and these are the 10 places that will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about travel.
Rags to travel. We go from nothing to everywhere we go. New city, new story to show. Back like streams heavy, let's roll. Rags to travel. Now you know. We rise, we fly, no limits, no fear. Passport stories, yeah, we here. Rags to travel, loud and clear. Yeah. Let's go.
Portugal isn't just a travel destination. It's a feeling. The kind of place where you sit down for dinner at 9 p.m. with strangers and don't leave until midnight because the conversation was that good, where a €1.20 espresso hits better than anything you had back home, where you can watch the sunset over the Atlantic and feel genuinely free. In this video, we're breaking down the 10 best places to visit in Portugal, from the iconic to the deeply hidden. Whether you're a first-time traveler or a seasoned explorer, at least one of these spots is going to move you. Let's get into it. What if I told you that in the middle of Portugal, there's a city with a Roman temple still standing? Built in the 1st century. Still there. You can touch it. Welcome to Évora, a UNESCO World Heritage City that most tourists completely skip. And honestly, that's the best thing about it. No massive crowds. No tourist traps. Just medieval streets, ancient ruins, and some of the best red wine in the country, for less than €5 a glass. But here's the thing about Évora that nobody warns you about. There's a chapel here, the Chapel of Bones, where the walls are literally lined with the skulls and bones of over 5,000 monks. There's even a sign at the entrance that reads, "We bones that are here await yours." Dark? Absolutely. Unforgettable? Without question. And that's only number 10. Wait until you see what's coming. This is Nazaré, and those waves you've seen go viral online, they happen right here. Nazaré holds the world record for the biggest wave ever surfed, over 100 feet. But here's what surprises people most when they arrive. Nazaré isn't just an extreme sports destination. It's also one of the most culturally rich fishing villages in Portugal. The women here still wear traditional dress. The fishermen still bring in their catch at sunrise. The dried octopus still hangs outside the restaurants like decorations. It's a place where ancient tradition and insane adrenaline exist in the exact same postcode. Go in October or November for the big wave season. But honestly, any time of year, Nazaré hits different. Next up, a place that genuinely looks like it was designed by a fantasy novelist. There are some places in this world that make you feel like you fell asleep and woke up inside a dream. Sintra is one of those places. Just 40 minutes by train from Lisbon. And suddenly you're standing in front of a palace that looks like it was built by someone who had never heard of the word subtle. Pink towers, yellow walls, Moorish arches, all perched on a cliff in the middle of an enchanted forest. This is the Pina Palace, and it's been sitting here since the 1800s. But here's what the travel blogs don't always tell you. Sintra's real magic isn't the palace. It's the hike between them. Ancient trails, hidden gardens, ruined walls draped in ivy, and at the top of the Moorish castle, a view across all of Portugal. That'll make your phone run out of storage. We're only at number 8. The list is just getting started. You want to know what the Hamptons of Portugal looks like? This is it. Comporta, a place so beautiful, so peaceful, so perfectly untouched, that for years, celebrities and European elites kept it a secret. Miles of white sand beach with almost nobody on it. Rice paddies that turn gold in the evening light. Wild flamingos, wild horses, and rice dishes, arroz de lingueirão. That'll change your relationship with food. Here's the honest truth about Comporta, though. It's getting discovered fast. Go now, before it becomes a next over-touristed hotspot. Because right now, it still feels like the end of the world in the best possible way.
From nothing to everywhere we go.
People come to Lisbon looking for Portugal, and they find Porto by accident, and then they stay longer than they planned. Every single time. Porto is raw in a way that feels real. The azulejo tile peeling off the buildings on a design choice. It's just Porto being Porto. And somehow that authenticity makes it 10 times more beautiful. The Douro River splits the city from Via Nova de Gaia, where the port wine caves are. You can literally walk across a bridge, do a free wine tasting, and walk back for almost nothing. And the food scene here, a francesinha, the city's famous sandwich, is a meat lover's fever dream, drowning in a beer and tomato sauce. It costs about €8, and it will wreck you in the best possible way. Porto doesn't try to impress you. It just does. We're halfway through, and the best spots haven't even been revealed yet. Here's something that took me a while to understand about Portugal. It's not about the places. Not really. It's about the feeling you carry home. The way a single afternoon in this country can reset something inside you, slow you down, remind you what matters. Travel doesn't have to be expensive to change your life. It just has to be real. And Portugal is as real as it gets. We've got 5 more places to go, and they're the ones I think about most. Don't go anywhere. If you've ever seen a photo of the Douro Valley and thought it was CGI, it's not. It genuinely looks like that. Thousands of terrace vineyards carved by hand into the hillsides. Over hundreds of years. The Douro River winding through it all like something from a painting. This is where port wine is born. And the best way to experience it, a river cruise. You can do a day boat from Porto for around €35.50. Worth every cent. Wake up in Porto, be inside a UNESCO World Heritage landscape by noon. Drink wine on a boat by 2 p.m. That's a Tuesday in Portugal. And it costs less than a night out back home. There's a stretch of coastline in southern Portugal that doesn't feel like it belongs to this planet. Lagos, the Algarve. You've seen the golden rock formations in the photos, the sea caves, the hidden cove beaches, but nothing prepares you for seeing it for real. The water at Ponta de Piedade is a shade of blue that has no name in English. You kayak through rock arches the size of buildings. You float in grottos where the light turns everything luminous. And then you climb back up to the town. Eat grilled sea bream for €12 at a restaurant with a view. And wonder how anyone ever leaves this place. Here's the budget reality check. Lagos is hostel from €18 a night. The beaches are free. The seafood is fresh and cheap. The Algarve is Portugal's most visited region for a reason. But Lagos is the reason for the reason. Most people think of Madeira as a retirement destination, a calm island for Europeans on holiday. They are so wrong. Madeira is a volcanic island rising out of the mid-Atlantic that just so happens to be one of the world's great adventure destinations. There are elevated trails, ancient waterways carved into the cliffs, where you hike through cloud forests with waterfalls on both sides. There are canyoning routes that drop you down lava tubes into crystal pools. There's a cable car that takes you up to 1,800 meters, where you can see the curvature of the earth. And then you get back down the mountain in a wicked toboggan pushed by two men in straw hats. Because Madeira doesn't do anything halfway. Oh, and it's technically Portugal, meaning EU infrastructure, EU safety standards. But without the mainland prices, Madeira is the kind of place that quietly rewires you. Most people who go once go back. There are cities that impress you, and then there are cities that hold you. Lisbon holds you. It's one of the oldest cities in Europe, older than Rome, according to some historians. And somehow, it still feels like the world's best-kept secret. Lisbon has hills, 7 of them, and from every single one, you get a different view of the same impossible city. The Alfama district, the oldest neighborhood, smells like salt air and grilled sardines. You can hear fado music echoing out of restaurant windows. Fado, the music of longing, of saudade, the Portuguese word for a feeling that doesn't exist in any other language. A deep, bittersweet love for something you've lost or haven't found yet. One night in a fado bar in Alfama and you'll understand it completely. And here's the thing about Lisbon that budget travelers need to hear. The pastel de nata at Pastas de Belém, the most famous pastry in the city, costs €1.30. You can eat like royalty here for almost nothing. You can ride the historic tram 28 for €3. You can watch the sunset over the Tagus with €2 wine from a corner store. Lisbon doesn't ask much of you. It just gives everything. So if Lisbon is number 2, what on earth is number 1?
New city, new story to show. Backlight, dreams heavy, let's roll.
I saved this for last because nothing else I've seen in Europe has ever come close to what the Azores does to you. 9 volcanic islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, where Europe, America, and Africa all technically meet. This is a place where you can go whale watching in the morning, real whales, not a zoo, and soak in volcanic hot springs by afternoon, where twin crater lakes sit inside a dormant volcano, one green, one blue, and the only sound is the wind, where the earth vents steam through the ground. And local restaurants actually cook food underground, in the volcanic soil, for 6 hours. The Azores are technically Portugal, but they feel like the edge of the world. And here's the truth about why this is number 1. I met people who went to Paris, Santorini, Bali, Tokyo, all the great ones. And the Azores is the one that nobody could stop talking about. The one that made them quiet for a second before they answered. The one they said changed something in them. Budget travelers, listen up. The Azores are one of the most affordable island destinations in Europe. And they are still completely, genuinely undiscovered by mass tourism. If you ever get one shot at going somewhere that leaves a mark, somewhere that makes you feel the full weight of being alive on this planet, go to the Azores. You can thank me later.
Rags to rival, now you know. Rags to rival, now you know. Rags to
10 places, 1 country, infinite reasons to go. Portugal is proof that you don't need to blow your savings to experience something extraordinary. You just need to choose the right destination. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these places hit different? Which one did you not expect? Which one are you already Googling flights to? Drop it in the comments. Seriously, because I'm putting together my next Portugal episode right now. And wherever you tell me to go might be exactly where I end up. If this video showed you something new, hit subscribe because we are just getting started. And if you want to see the full Portugal budget breakdown, how much it actually costs day to day, that video is right here. Safe travels. And remember, the world is bigger than your comfort zone.
rags to rival, now you know.